welcome to Intervista Italy, and today we are in Paris in company of Tristan Nitot,
Yes.
the president of Mozilla Europe. Hi Tristan.
Hi.
So I would like to ask you something. For all those who don't know a lot about the background of Mozilla, when was it born and what's the story behind the company?
It's a very long story. I don't think you have enough tape to record all of this, or even hard drive. It's actually started back in '98, so it's almost 10 years ago now. Where Netscape, who made the popular browser, which was named Navigator and then Communicator, um, you know, was not in good shape thanks to Microsoft doing illegal stuff, like bundling the browser with Windows and all that. And so they decided that as a small company, if they wanted to compete efficiently against the gigantic company that is Microsoft, they should really change the rules. And instead of selling software and writing it, developing it in-house, they would open the source code and welcome anybody to come and contribute to the software, and so the result will be usable by anybody. It took several years to happen, but it finally led to the creation of Mozilla Foundation in the US and Mozilla Europe, in Paris actually, and then Firefox was born, and 3 years later we're here with 125 million users.
So that's great. And what's the growth of Mozilla in Europe so far?
The growth of Firefox in general is just amazing. In just a year, we doubled the number of users we had. So it's amazing. We're lucky in Europe that people seem to be very open to the ideas of open source and sharing knowledge, and understand the need for a better browser and a more secure browser, and something that respects more your privacy. So all in all, we enjoy a very good market share, probably better than in the US, since we're around, I think, 27%. If you ask xitimonitor.com, they publish regular reports, and this is where they are now.
Well, some people complain about the fact that Mozilla has become a bit bulky, while it used to be a very fast browser. What do you think about it?
I think, like every browser, every piece of software, you may have leaks and memory issues. And with Firefox 3, we've been working really hard on fixes these issues. So you'll see that it's going to improve with time. But it's not only that. So we're not saying, oh, it has no problem, it's the best browser on earth on everything. We think it's a very, very good browser, probably the best on earth, but it's not perfect. And this is why we issue, new releases, of course. But also, in 3 years, the way people use the browser and the web has changed dramatically. I'll give you three examples. First one is, now that you have tabbed browsing, you can have 20 websites in a single window, and you didn't have that before, right? And so, well, guess what? If you have 20 sites in your browser, it of course takes more memory than if you had only 2 or 3 websites in 3 different windows, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is the usage of extensions. People use extensions, which are actually additional programs that run inside a browser that tend to use memory too. And 3 years ago, nobody had extensions. And of course, with the Web 2.0, people in the past used to use email clients separate from the browser, or RSS aggregator separate from the browser. And now they're using web applications that run inside the browser. So all the memory that was used in your email client and your RSS feed reader, they are now in the browser. So basically, it's just not that Firefox is getting bigger. I don't think it is. It's just that we keep adding stuff and content in it. Well, not us, Mozilla, but the user, right? More websites, more extensions, more complex applications, and all in all, we demand more from the browser, and so the memory increases.
And talking about extensions, Flock, which is the cousin of the most popular browser, Firefox, which we're talking about, seems to have brought up first the concept of a browser that can be also social networking, like by integrating all these features that by now are only available as extensions on Firefox. What do you think it's going to become, the browser in the future? I mean, it's going to become a social tool to really aggregate people and navigate sites and stuff like that, or it's just I don't know, fake path that the one that Flock is following.
Um, I I really don't know. What Flock is doing is interesting, but say for example, Flock maybe wouldn't be very popular in Italy because you tend to use different services, for dating or for social sites or photo sharing and all that. So it really depends of the habits of a local market. And so we'd rather go with the extension model where everyone can build an extension and every website can do that. It's easy if you know JavaScript. Um, and it's open. And so you can come and contribute and build your extension and offer you users to use your extension within Firefox rather than say, okay, we'll have a deal with Flickr and we'll have a deal with YouTube and you have to use these services, otherwise you're out of luck. So I think decentralization of the innovation is interesting. Uh, it, but I don't know. We'll see who wins. What's important is I like people experimenting on a browser. I think it's really cool. It's made possible by Mozilla. So if Flock has success, that good for them and good for us and good for the web.
And last question, you just split Thunderbird in a new company. And what does that mean? I mean, does it mean that Firefox is the main thing you want to focus on?
No, no, no. I think there is a lot of misunderstanding about what we have done with Thunderbird. Um, Thunderbird and Firefox were in the same legal structure, and the issue with when you have people that work on Firefox and Thunderbird, you always have to make choice on what you want to work or what you have to work on, and so say I'm a marketing person or I'm a QA person or whatever, and the two products are competing for the resource. And the person will have to make a choice and would say, well, I could work for Firefox and this will impact 125 million users, or I could I could spend my time on Thunderbird, but my leverage would be much lower than that. Maybe it's not that Thunderbird is a bad product. It's a great product. It has, several million users, but Firefox is such a gigantic success that every time people give the priority to Firefox, and Thunderbird does not get the attention it deserves. So if we have a new entity which is still linked to Mozilla Foundation, just like Mozilla Corporation is, if both report to Mozilla Foundation, but stop competing on resources, it's better for Thunderbird. So we're not trying to get rid of Thunderbird in any way. We want Thunderbird to succeed, and so we're putting it in a place where it can really reach its full potential.
And what can we expect from Mozilla in the next future?
Well, first thing what you can expect is Firefox 3. We're working hard on this. I'm sure sure, you never sure, but we're pretty close to get beta 2 of Firefox 3, sorry, by the end of the year. And sometimes early next year, Firefox 3. So this is what keeps us awake at night, making sure we have a great Firefox 3 release. And after that, we have in the background an effort which is called Mozilla 2, which is a huge, we're working on the code, and we will be running it on mobile phones. So it's gonna take some time, probably I don't know, 18 months or 2 years, but it's a lot of work to be done. But when it's gonna be done, you will have a faster, more performant Firefox that will be able to run on your mobile phones, and this is super exciting.
So thanks for your time and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.